Alrighty, guys, welcome to the end of February board game review show here. This is season 4. We've been doing this for 4 years already. Every month, at the end of the month, we talk about what we did, the update of the channel, and, kind of give you an overview of all of the things that we did during the month. February really snuck up on me because, of course, it only has 28 days in it, so it's only 4 weeks. But then the last week, my daughter's been here visiting with her fiance, and so, the last 4 or 5 days, I haven't even really had a chance to sit down and play anything or do anything other than some games with them. So that was kind of good, and I forgot to add these to my list. Maybe we'll talk about those at the end. But February was, February came and went very quickly. Once again, we're going to go over what we did and talk about all the games that we played. We played 5 new games in February. And so we'll talk about those. But the most important thing about February 2026 was we started our new WES Wednesday night show, which stands for Wargaming, Eurogaming, and Sports Gaming, the WES Wednesday board game show, every Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m., give or take, depending on how things go. I think we're going to try for 7 o'clock. And so far, it's been a pretty good show. We've already had 2 episodes. We have 2 episodes. This Wednesday will be our 3rd episode. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see how, if we can continue on with it and, continue talking about all the stuff that's board gaming news, wargaming news, Eurogaming news, talk about all the fun things that we've talked about. So check out the shows. Leave a comment on them if you have any suggestions for any of the shows or any of the topics or anything like that. I'd love to hear from you. So let me know in the comments section. So that was one thing that February brought to us was our new show, Wednesday, the WES Board Gaming Show. We're still looking for graphics for several of the different segments. We do a call or keep segment. We do a shelf of shame segment. So if you're looking to help the show and looking to set up some graphics for us, you can email us and we can show off what graphics you send us. So we are looking for logo for the show and all of the different segments that we run during the show. Wednesday, it's 7, so be sure to tune in for that. So that was kind of the overview there. Let's talk about what we actually did in February. So you can see what I did here is instead of just listing the games that I play off, per day, I started just, for example, you can see there in the middle there, Stratomatic Baseball. We actually played Stratomatic 11 times. So instead of listing it 11 times, it just didn't make sense to do that anymore. So what I'm going to start doing is just, if I play a game multiple times, I'm going to try and just, put down that I played it multiple times. Now I say that, but you'll see that I also did Inside Volley Tennis a couple times. And they're on the list. Well, one time they're on the list because they were a new game, and one time because it was an additional game. So we'll talk about what we actually did. We played Inside Pitch Baseball. Then we played Welcome To. We played Payoff Pitch Baseball. Our first new game of this season of the month was Sky Team, which we played with Mike Berticelli. Great designer and friend of the channel, Mike Berticelli from GMT. And he came on. He actually emailed me about playing Sky Team and thought that would be a really cool game to show off. And it was. It was super cool. And we had a great time playing that game. It's a very cool... It's a cooperative 2-player game, so you need 2 players to play it. And the mechanisms are basically dice placement, but you can't tell your opponent what dice you rolled, and you can't talk during the round. So it's like, you can really mess how your plane is because you're trying to keep it straight and level, and you have to get rid of the other planes, and you have to put the landing gear down and the flaps and all this stuff that you need to do. You need certain dice for those, and so you're kind of managing what you want to do with your dice as the pilot, and your co-pilot is also doing the same thing, but you're trying not to mess up what they can do with their dice, and it's a great blend of difficulty and smoothness in the game. It's a really cool game, Sky Team. If you have a partner and you want to play a 2-player game, I would definitely highly recommend it. It's definitely a good one. Then we played Cartographers. We played Stratomatic Baseball. Again, we started a new tournament with the 2008 NLCS and ALCS and World Series. And right now we are 11 games into it. We played 6 in the National League with the Dodgers and the Phillies. And we played 5 in the American League with the Red Sox and the Rays. So we still haven't determined either one of the series yet. So we're going at least 6 games in both series, and maybe even 7 games in both series. We shall see how it goes. So if you're looking for some Stratomatic Baseball, be sure to check that out. I'm trying to complete these projects. I totally admit, like one of my problems is I am a project starter. I start lots of projects and I never complete any of them. So I'm trying to piggyback off of what Phoenix Knight does and make sure that Phoenix Knight, when he starts a project, he is laser focused on getting that project done and, making sure that it gets completed. And sometimes to his deficit, he's so laser focused. He won't break away from that. He won't veer off. He won't take a break. He won't, he wants to get it done. And while that's good, it can also be bad. I'm trying to get him out of that cycle of, putting all of his eggs in one basket, which can be, too much at some times. But, the good side is getting these projects done. So when I started this Stratomatic Baseball 2008, I was just going to do the World Series best of 7. I said, you know what? That's not enough games. Let's see if we can do NLCS, ALCS, and the World Series. The most it'll be is 21 games. 7, 7, and 7 would be most is 21. It could be as short as 12 games if it's just a 4, 4, and 4. If there's a sweep both ways. So it's going to be somewhere between 21 and 12 games. I thought, no, that's great. It'll take me a month, maybe 2 months to get it done. We got 11 games done. We'll probably get, obviously, NL and ALCS games. We'll get those finished, and then we'll do the World Series. We'll probably have that done by the end of March. And so 2 months is not a bad time to get that project done. And, I'm trying to use up some of the cards that I have. I've got these 2008 Stratomatic cards I've never done anything with. So I'm trying to find different projects to use them with. So that's kind of, 2026 was about creating some set times and set scheduling things. Right, and so we started the WES on Wednesdays, so that also is taking some of our time. That's 1 day a week that we're no longer using for gaming. We're using that as our review show, so that kind of limits what we can do as well. So keep that in mind. So after Stratomatic, we played Harmonies, and of course, we played Stratomatic, then we played Harmonies, then we played Stratomatic, then we played Marvel United, then we played, it was like it wasn't 11 straight games of Stratomatic. It's like during the month we played it 11 times. We played Harmonies, which is a really cool game. Marvel United, we played that a couple times. We played Hawkeye, War Machine, and Falcon versus Bullseye. We lost the first time we played, so we had to play again, and we beat them the second time, so that was kind of cool. It was 1-1, and so we put it away after that. Marvel United is a good one. Then we played 4 games in a row that were new because it was about the middle of the month, and I had only one new game and I said, I want to get a few more on the channel this month, and I don't want to wait to the last minute, so I just started doing a couple new games, and it just so happens they ended up being back to back. Well, of course there was some Stratomatic in between all these, some different games, but it was Junk Drawer, which is kind of an interesting take on one of my favorite genres, which is roll and writes, and that's the subject of our WES subject. One of our episodes, one of our subjects was the roll and write, and how good are roll and writes, and can you make roll and writes for wargaming and sports gaming, and we talked all about the different aspects of roll and writes. Junk Drawer is kind of there's 4 different drawers, and you have different pieces. They're like Tetris pieces, and you need to try and figure out, I've got this piece, which drawer do I put it in? Each of the drawers, you're trying to do different things. The first drawer, you might want to have have all the pieces on the out. It's like a 4x4 or 5x5 grid. I forget the size of it. And you might want to have just the outside pieces, like every piece on the outside that has that's covered up is worth a victory point. Or you might want to have all the pieces in the middle of the box that are covered up are worth a victory point. Or you might have to have it so that the most you get like four victory points for every piece that you put into the box. And so you're like trying to min-max what you're doing with your pieces in the junk drawer. And it's a neat, interesting take on like a little roll and write tableau building thing. And it's a pretty good game. You can play it on Board Game Arena, which is what we did. Played it a couple times, had a good time with it, and I think it's a decent, fun little game. Then we played Chronomino. Chronomino, it's like dominoes, but it's like triangular dominoes, and I did not really understand and like this one at all. Again, it's on Board Game Arena. It's a puzzle of dominoes, and it's just like extra work. It takes like all the fun aspects of dominoes out of it. And I just wasn't a big fan of Chronominos or Chronomino or whatever you want to call it. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that one. It was fine, I guess. Maybe I might try it again at some point just to see if I was playing it wrong or not. It just was like extra work for no fun. There was no fun aspect in it. Maybe it's just a solo mode. I don't know. Then we played a game called Inside Volley Tennis, which actually, it's not our first official time, but it was our first time on this channel of playing this game. But I played Inside Volley Tennis years ago on this channel, but that was before I was keeping track of everything on Board Game Arena 5 years ago. So it was like 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years ago that I played Inside Volley Tennis. So when I pulled up Inside Volley Tennis on Board Game Arena, I was like, it showed I'd never played it. So we actually played it a couple times, and we saw this on Phoenix Night Channel, and it's like it was bringing a blast from the past back, because it's been a long time since I played this. I thought it was always a pretty good game. especially with the Excel helper that you can download from the Inside Sports guys. They have a tennis Excel helper that you can use to play through the game. And so I did, and I actually played it a couple times this month to bring it back to the channel and to kind of relive some of these moments. So yes, technically we've played this one before, but according to Board Game Arena, it was a new game on our channel, so we're going to count it as a new game. Then we had Unconditional Surrender Western Campaigns, which is our pretty good sized war game from GMT. It's the only war game we actually played of the month, and I wanted to, again, get back into playing more board gaming in 2026. I know 2025 was kind of a down year. It was a good way to get back into wargaming because Unconditional Surrender was a smaller footprint, just a few units. The scenario we played was the Poland 1939 scenario. There's just a few rules. The scenario was a tutorial scenario, so it's easier to understand and get into playing the game and setting everything up. And it was a fine game, and I'm hoping to try another scenario for Unconditional Surrender Western Campaigns at some point, because there's aspects that are not involved in the Poland 1939 scenario, where you earn production and you can produce your own units, and there's supply, and there's all kinds of things that that's not in the tutorial scenario in Poland 1939. So maybe we'll try and get another one of those games in. And again, a big shout out, a big thanks, a big huge 2 thumbs up to Wayne Hansen and his awesome tutorial series on Unconditional Surrender Western Campaigns. I would highly recommend you don't watch my video to learn how to play that game. You check out his videos. He did a great job explaining how to play the game. I learned how to play the game through using those videos. And, I want to give him a big thank you and a big shout out to let people know to go check those videos out. And be sure to leave him a comment on his video when you watch it and say, hey, Jester sent me over here because, he told me he did a great job on it. So that would be a big help to let him know that I'm sending people over there to check out his games. But, we're hoping to get another game, another scenario. There are some, more involved scenarios, and there's a lot more going on in the game than the tutorial scenario we played. And we didn't play the best way either. We did not do very well. As the Germans, it's only 1 turn scenario, and as the Germans, you have to take over Poland in 1 turn. And if the Polish hold on, if you can't defeat them, then you lose. And what I was trying to do is wear the units down with my infantry and then bring in the panzers. And that probably was not the best idea. I would even like to play this scenario again the way Wayne Hansen did it in his tutorial, with using the panzers first and using the extra power you get from the panzers to knock out the other units, so it's easier for the infantry units to do what they need to do. Which in reality is how, more than likely than what should happen. You're using your better, more powerful units to punch through lines, and you're using them to destroy other units so that your infantry units aren't bogged down doing things. So, that's probably how I should have done it. But again, because Wayne Hansen did a tutorial series and played it that way, I didn't want to just copy and paste it what he did. I decided to try something a little different, and our scenario didn't go very well. I would highly recommend you check out both his video and mine so you can see the difference and see, we had some terrible dice rolls for the German player. You're basically rolling a d6 for the attacker and the defender, And if the defender rolls a 6 on his dice and they roll really, really well, the whole scenario, you're sunk. There's nothing you can do. Like, I guess it's the one downside in the game. There's not very much variation. You got a D6 and the difference between the D6. So if you roll a 6 and I roll 1, there's a difference of 5. And so you're only going to get a maximum of a difference of 5. And what you're trying to do as the attacker is roll a 6 and have the defender roll 1. And so you've got a 5 advantage on them, which will destroy their units, which is great. Problem is, when the defender's rolling a 6 and you're rolling 2 or 3 or 4 or whatever, and you're not beating them by 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 points, as the attacker, you have to win by like 4 or 5 points. If you win by like 1 or 2 points, maybe 3 points, you're forcing them to retreat. If you win by 4 or 5 points, you're causing them to be destroyed and lose a step and all that, which is what you're trying to do. So when the defender rolls a 6, you can't beat them by 5 or 6 or 7 points. And I think the Polish dice rolled a 6, like 5 of 6 rolls. It was 5 of 6 rolls. I think it rolled a 6. There's just no way to win as the Germans at that point. There's just nothing you can do. I don't care if you're coming in with panzers or you're coming in with infantry. When the defender rolls really, really well, there's nothing you can do, which is kind of the one negative with this system is there's not a lot of variation in the combat structure. It's very streamlined, which is good. There's no numbers on the counters. You're not trying to min-max. You're not trying to I need to get a 12 versus 3 so I get a 4-1, and you're trying to do all that crazy nonsense where you're trying to spend hours trying to calculate just so you can get all your best attacks versus all the, the better defenders and all that stuff, which I can understand the designer not wanting to have that stuff. He wants it just to be fast-paced, boom, boom, boom. All your modifiers are based upon, if you're attacking, if you're a tank unit, if it's clear terrain, if it's a city, if you're crossing a water hex side, if you're attacking into a town, and all these are modifiers that give you pluses and minuses. Support, if you're adding support in, things like that. So I spent a lot of time talking about Unconditional Surrender Western campaigns. It's really a good game, and I think it's small footprint, 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. That's right, one single sheet paper is the size of the maps, which is awesome. So you're not bogged down with huge. I think there was 10 counters for the Germans and about 8 or 10 counters for the Polish. There's not a lot of counters on the map. There's not a lot of calculations. By the end, we weren't even looking at the rules to get the calculations because there's 6 or 7 different things that are giving you bonuses and penalties. So it's a very quick system to learn, very cool. That's why I wanted to try a couple of the more advanced scenarios just to see, how well it does when you start adding more complexity to the game. So we'll try and get that in. If you're interested in that, leave us a comment in the comments section down below if there's a specific scenario that you'd like to see. And then, of course, we played Inside Volley Tennis again. Jimmy Connors versus Andre Agassi from 1991, which we put in the we decided to play on the clay. Because I thought, Andre Agassi is ranked number 10 in the world. Jimmy Connors at this point was on the end of his career. He was Bounce Back Player of the Year in 1991. So he had a pretty good year, but he's ranked 49th. So I figured, we'll put him on clay. Maybe the slower terrain will help him. The slower court, will help him against the 10th ranked player in the world. And if you didn't watch it, I'm going to give you some spoilers. Jimmy Connors kicked his ass. Like, it wasn't even close. I think it was like 6-3, 6-4, 6-4. It was like a straight set victory for Jimmy Connors. And I was like baffled. Like, he had broken Andre Agassi like 4 times in the first set and won like 6-1 or 6-2 or something crazy like that. It was a beatdown for Jimmy Connors. And I was like shocked and awed. I don't know if we were just getting like super unlucky rolls. It's a one roll to get the results. So it's not like a shot by shot point thing where you're shooting for this player and then shooting for this player. It's like one shot and it tells you, who wins the point. So it's like kind of a quick playing tennis game, which is good in my book. And, you can get a 5-set game in about 30-40 minutes. It's not like super long, which is nice. So I really like Inside Volley Tennis. Glad that's back on the channel. It's been years and years. And so we had 5 new games on the channel. So with all of that, we need to update our monthly statistics here and see where we lie after 2 months. So after 2 months, we had 5 new games in February. So we have 13 new games in 2026, January, February. So we're on pace. So we've had 2 months. So we're 1/6 of the year. So 6 times 13. What is 6 times 13? Calculator. Let's look at our calculator. 13 times 6. We're on pace for 78 games. New games coming to the channel this year, which is fine. Just try and get somewhere between 50 and 100 new games. Just a nice variety of adding new content with the content that we really like on the channel. And, just enough new stuff to keep people interested in what we're doing. We played 32 different game sessions. Again, you can see right there, 11 Stratomatic. We had 3 cartographers. We had 2 Sky teams. We had 3 Welcome Twos. We had 2, chronometers. So 32 total. So we played 59 games. 59 times 6. Again, if we're looking at the totals for the year, 59 times 6, looking at around 354 games played, so around 400 games. And of these, we've played 15 digitally this month. So we played a total of 20. I'm trying to keep track of how many we've played on the table versus how many we do digital. Now, with all that said, there was my daughter, as I mentioned, came into town and we played several games, family games, party games, whatever you want to call them, that I don't normally, because I don't put them on the channel and they're just face-to-face games. And what the hell were the names of those? So the first one was... it was Chameleon. Something with the chameleon. Camel. I don't even know how to spell chameleon. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different games called Chameleon and Board Game Arena. I'm thinking maybe 2020. Let's look at 2020. Nope, that's not it. I don't even know if it'd be on here because it's like one of these. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm not going to count it. And then the other one was called like Take 5 or something like that. We played that a couple times. It gives you like 5 categories, and then you have to like name 5 things. Like it might be like name 5 vegetables that are not green, and so like you have 30 seconds, and so like your team has to come up with like 5 vegetables. And sometimes it's like just your team, sometimes it's both you and your opponent team, where like one team, like it might be like name a hockey team, and so like one team will name one, and then it goes back and forth until one side can't name one. And so it's kind of a lot of pressure. It sounds very stupid, but there's so much pressure. Like you're thinking, like, oh my god, like it was. It's so much easier. Like you read the question, it's like, name of name of Michael Jackson's songs, and the person that was on my team was like thinking, like, oh my god, and he named a couple, but he couldn't get 5, and I'm like, dude, how can you not get 5 Michael Jackson songs? Like I was naming them off like boom, 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 like. But when you have that pressure of, okay, I only have like 30 seconds, I need to think of these things, you can't, your brain just doesn't work that fast, I guess. I don't know. And that's how that's what the whole game is about. It's about putting people under pressure and getting to, to think, like, can they think about things and come up with good, sometimes the like super easy categories, and they're like name of William Shakespeare's plays, and you'd be like Macbeth and Juliet, Romeo and Juliet, and then me and my daughter looked at each other and we're like, okay, that's all I know, like 2. Even though, like how many, I couldn't even tell you, like, how many, William Shakespeare plays. Like, how many is there? Like, it's all well that ends well as you like it. Comedy of errors. These are Shakespeare's plays. Henry the Fourth, oh my God. Julius Caesar, Hamlet, Macbeth, Romeo and Juliet. Like, I couldn't think of any of these. Othello. Like, some of these I don't know, but like some of these I should have known. Like Othello, King Lear, Hamlet. Like, so a lot of these are really well known, but like I said, the whole thing is like you're under the pressure, the time of trying to get things figured out. So you only have like a few seconds, and your brain's constantly thinking of the same thing over and over again. Like green vegetables, I got like potatoes, corn, and I was like, Brussels sprouts. They're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I was like, what else is there? Lima beans. Nope, they're green. And so I couldn't think of anything else. And at the end, they're like, carrots. And I'm like, oh, yeah, carrots. That would have been a good one to say. But you don't think of these when you're under pressure. So it's probably a good one to use as a brain. Keep your brain active and thinking about things. Play that game with yourself and see if you can keep your wits about yourself and keep your brain thinking very quickly. That might be a good game to play to, as you get older, to keep your brain from freezing up. Anywho, that is a look at the end of February. We're a good month. Again, we started the brand new WES board gaming show. We got a couple episodes of that in. Looking forward to doing more of that with everyone on Wednesday nights and talking about things. It's kind of a weekly rehash of what we do, but we also have subjects we talk about. We talked about roll and write games. We talked about sports. What happens when your sports games go off the rails. We talked about the U.S. Olympic hockey team that won the gold medal in the Olympics. And why is there no good Olympic board games to play? And we also talked about what happened in 1980. And we list some of the things that happened in 1980. The eruption of Mount St. Helens, the assassination of John Lennon, and trying to think of the other important event that happened in 1980, just to show people how long it's been since the U.S. has won a gold medal in ice hockey. Wow, it's been 46 years, believe it or not, and that's a long, long, long time when you start thinking about what had happened all the way back in 1980. I'm trying to think of there was Mount St. Helens, the assassination of John Lennon, and something else that happened in 1980. Can't remember what it is right now. Anyways, February was a good month. We didn't get a super lot done with my daughter visiting. My wife was sick. We were in the hospital for twice in one weekend. I was sick and I was in the hospital. I am so glad February is done and over with. I don't ever want to hear February again until next year. I've never been a fan of February. It's my least favorite month of the year. Let's move on to March and have a much better March. 31 days, so you got a lot more going on in March. I do have my other daughter coming to visit, and her husband and my grandson, which are coming. They're going to be here for 4 or 5 days, so that's going to take some time away. But I'm hoping to have a good March and, again, get 5 or 6 new games on the channel. We've got plenty of new games to look at. We were just shipped a new game, which I'm going to do an unboxing of. This one, Horrified by Captain Carl, which I appreciate Captain Carl sending this to me. I'm going to do a video on this one as we do an unboxing of it. And so we got a lot of new games coming to the channel. We're going to try and keep going with the March and having a really good March. Get between 30 and 40 games on the channel. Finish our Stratomatic Baseball, NLCS, ALCS, and the World Series from 2008. Get that all done. Complete that project. Come up with another new project. Do our tutorial series for Sentinels of the Multiverse. We actually had one new hero that we added, which was part of our new Definitive Edition game from Desperation, Chrono Ranger. So we've actually added one to our list of Sentinel of the Multiverse heroes. So that is still going forward, and we're trying to complete that as well as all the other stuff we're doing on the channel. And of course, every Wednesday at 7 o'clock, doing our board game show and talking about things. So we'll see everyone then. Until then, my friends, thanks so much for watching. Have any thoughts, comments, questions, or suggestions, leave them in the comments section down below. Otherwise, we'll see you on Wednesday, and we'll see you on the show tomorrow night for probably Game 6 of the ALCS, Tampa Bay and Boston in Tampa Bay. See you later. Take care and have a good